Welcome back to another episode of the Unheard Perspective podcast.
I'm back.
We're your hosts, Sasha Riva
and Basil Said.
And today we will talk about the effect of the digital age. We have become very connected with social media. Some even consider social media a literal part of their personality, especially with how people can now form connections through popular apps like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, or even TikTok.
That's absolutely right. With the rise of social media, our lives have been impacted heavily. Nowadays, the minimum is to even have at least one account on each platform. Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, even TikTok, which at least people are starting to realize how damaging it is. Not to mention the security issues and how the US government has banned it on government devices a few months ago. Yet, people still use it. The challenge here with social media is to maintain authenticity. We know pictures on social media are not really how people are. And in a global social media market, everyone wants to look their best, understandably. The impact of these tools on face-to-face interaction, though, has been very damaging, and it led some people to even focus more on their online personas than the real-life personas. And that shows how damaging social media has been, and it also includes how friendships have evolved in this day and age.
Social media has gone through the toxic stage of life. People are trying to show themselves as something they're really not. Let's just mention a couple of examples like filters. People forget how they look like and start feeling insecure. Those filters might be fun, but when they become a regular part of how we present ourselves, it is concerning. And then there is this pressure to showcase a perfect life, whether it's for likes, comments, or for someone to feel better about themselves. And sometimes leaves their real life to suffer while looking perfect digitally. It affects their mind and the dopamine levels.
Speaking of dopamine levels, the levels are really concerning nowadays. And the way it happens is you scroll through your feed and it seems like everyone has it all together. But the moment you look behind the scenes, you look and you see, you're like, no one's life is perfect. It's like this performance where failures are edited out, and it's taken a toll on people's health, mental health especially. People try to pretend that they have a perfect life and that everything is great, but as soon as you see the reality, no one's perfect. We all know that, but it definitely needs to be talked about more. People need to be conscious of it so that they can better the real non-digital life. And it's crazy that I have to say non-digital life.
For those who are listening, just look at your screen time and be honest with yourself. Is this really what you want for yourself? And do you want to do something to change that? And as we discuss the effect of the digital age on people, we'll also be discussing some valuable tips and advice. So Basil, how do you think we can ensure our online life is as fulfilling as is real life?
I believe it's a challenge that many of us face in this day and age. I think it's difficult to have fulfilling relationships online. It's not really what we as humans were designed to do. We were designed to go out there in the real world and make connections. We were designed to be outside most of the day. Now, I understand that some people are not cut out for it, especially as nowadays you can just get products to your door, delivered to your door. You don't even need to be present for it. Companies make products available with a single touch, and you can just sit down and relax, have it handed to you at the front door. And when it comes to friendships and relationships, some people can succeed in making it happen. To maintain it, however, that's a very different story, and it doesn't work most of the time.
It's the same as long-distance relationships for those who don't meet in person, yet speak online every day. It's wonderful at times, yet can you trust that person and maintain enough online presence at the cost of your physical life? I think one way is to just go outside, whether it's park or just for a walk, and be open-minded about your life and people. People don't really realize that they're going through the same issues as everybody else. Problem of living in a digital world. So I think one of the other factors is sports. Whether it's going to the gym, running, or playing a type of sport, it helps a lot with stress and anxiety and makes people more focused and energetic. The more this is done, the less time spent inside. So with the constant stream of updates, likes, and shares, how do you think this affects us mentally, and what do we do to change that?
I think with the constant stream of updates, likes, and all the comments, they can really have a big impact on our mental health. It basically creates a never-ending cycle of seeking validation, as well as comparing our lives to others. It ruins the dopamine levels, which I think people are starting to realize what that is, and the feelings of satisfactions. There is this pressure that we see nowadays, the pressure to conform to the perfect image digitally and meet society standards. And it's insanely huge. It takes a toll on people's self-esteem, especially teenagers, and feelings of insecurity. And that's very common among teenagers, especially girls.
I feel like that people should understand the importance of disconnecting from their digital world and focusing on real-time experiences. While social media is all fun and you feel very much entertained, it's important to have balance and not to let it define your life and your happiness. Well, as we wrap up today's episode of the Unheard Perspective podcast, let's encourage our listeners to reflect on their habits. Consider how much time you spend online versus engaging in real life. Remember that behind every perfect social media feed is a real human being, facing the same challenges and imperfections.
And I'll add to that, let's not forget the power of actual, genuine face-to-face interactions, building relationships in the physical world, should I say. I would say it's crazy that I have to say that, since now we have to define what world is, digital, physical, and all that. Connecting with nature, engaging in activities that bring joy and happiness, they're all essential for a fulfilling life. And I understand that it's hard nowadays to get healthy food, healthy family, and healthy habits and activities, but it's doable. This digital world and social media, they're here to stay. We all know it, but it is up to us to shape how we navigate and balance their influence on our health. And that's a really good point here, is to understand that only we, using our willpower, can really balance how social media and the digital world can influence our health.
So stay tuned for the next episode as we uncover more unheard stories. Thank you so much for listening.